Hi there, welcome to another episode of Unscripted with Antara and Garima. Can we all agree that November, December, January are just the best months of the year? The weather is beautiful, festive vibes are in the air, and yes, of course, you cannot forget, it's also the wedding season. So if you're an Indian or if you have an Indian friend, I'm pretty sure you've either attended a wedding or you're about to attend one, or you're just binge watching all those wedding reels on your socials. Come on, you got to admit that, right? Because when it comes to Indian weddings, it's not just like an event, it's like a celebration of a lifetime. The Ambani wedding. Absolutely. Just a small little example of how seriously we take those weddings. Now, speaking about weddings, did you know that Oman has very quietly just become a favorite hotspot for destination weddings? And why not? Well, we have the best of the landscapes, we have the best of the hotels, we also have the best of the hospitality, and come on, the proximity to India. So a lot of boxes also get ticked there. So you name the celebrity and you have them here. Sonam Kapoor, AP Dhillon, Rahat Fateh Ali Khan, Diljit Dosanjh has also come. Some of them have come here as guests to perform. Some of them have had their own events. Now, who is the person behind all of this? Who is organizing all of these fab weddings and who is making that extra effort to put Oman right there on the global map of destination weddings? I have just the person right here in the studio. And trust me, when I say she is the best, yes, She is the best in the business when it comes to social events, corporate events, destination weddings on just like that. And she's such a fun person. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh my God. And guys, this introduction just says it all. Maybe I should just go home.
No, I have a lot to
have a lot of
ask.
questions and you have a lot of stories.
Yes. And I'm
yes.
happy to share them. But
Oh.
thank you for having me.
I think I can allow you to keep your phone not on silent, because if the phone rings, I would be excited to know that who's calling. So you can be one of those, those guests,
Exceptional
exceptional
kids.
guests.
Yeah, we like
that-
answering
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Like, okay.
Oh,
what's
we'll
up?
get that on record.
Yeah.
But this must be a busy season for you, right?
It is. So
Yeah.
honestly, our busy season is usually from the month of September and it goes on till March. And it's obviously because of the weather.
Right.
It's this time of the year that everybody's really excited to do things. And I
Right.
think it's also very seasonal as a business. But September to March is when we're really focused on doing a million events. Like
Right.
literally at any given point of time, we're doing multiple events. And it's always been, that specific trend's always been on.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, what I know about you is that you started all of this back in 2010. So you completed around 13 years this
Yes.
year. Wow,
Yes.
that's been like a long over a decade.
Yeah.
But you've done your master's in entrepreneurship and
marketing.
marketing.
Yeah.
And now you're into
Event
events.
management.
So how did that transition happen?
I actually always have been passionate about doing events. So
Okay.
it started pretty much in school days when I was like, captain and vice captain. Though that's what we had.
Oh, you were one of those.
Yeah, I was one of those. And, we'd be...
Join the gang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Organizing all the events in school and then in college when I was at Babson in Boston, heading the Indian community, organizing all the events there. Then when I went back to Bombay, I was working with my father.
So you always knew that your liking is
Yeah.
towards that field.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't honestly think about it so much. It's
Okay.
just something that you're good at. How
Right.
everyone's good at something.
Right.
It's just something that was my drive.
Nice.
That's what would put me, in a place which made me so happy. When I moved to Oman as well, I would always organize things. I started with this charity ball with Karen Green,
Right.
which was about 14 years
Beautiful
back.
events, those
And, I went up to her and I said that, Karen, I've just moved to Oman. I want to have a sense of my own identity. I want to have my own friends. I'm new here. Can I please be a part of your, community? And I'd love to be a part of your charity ball. So that was my starting point over here,
Wow.
where I got to know vendors and I got to know how media works here and, how events in Muscat could be.
Did you hesitate before you just went up to her and
No.
asked her? You were just like, this is
I
my
just
domain.
went.
I'm going to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Firstly, she was a very approachable person. And I think she did a lot for the community here. So she's somebody who I could naturally just walk up to. And I think that question, which is like, can I be a part of your charity ball, is probably what changed my life. right? Sometimes you just ask and
Yeah.
you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So now thinking back, at that time I didn't think so much, but now thinking back, I'm like, wow, wow, that was my start.
Yeah.
Then I got approached by somebody from the family. In our family, we have a thread ceremony called the Janoe, which is a very big,
Right.
deal. So I got approached by one of the family members, and she was like, "Can you organize a Janoe for my son?" And I was like, "But I don't do this as a business.
Professionally, yeah.
Are you sure you want me to do this?" And she's like, "No, I've seen your work at this charity ball. I really like it.
Wow.
I trust you, and you have to charge me for it."
Whoa.
So honestly, that was
That's
so
the respect
kind.
that you show for the work.
That was my starting point. That's when the company got established. That became the seeding capital for the business.
Wow.
And then it just kept moving and kept growing, and one thing led to another. That
Right.
was, my story in short. Like
Right.
that's how it's been.
Oh, lovely. So you actually started with social events, corporate events, and
Yeah.
then what I understand that recently your focus now is weddings and destination weddings, if I had to just kind of point out there.
Actually, that's quite interesting because it's just that nobody did know, but we've been doing destination weddings for the last 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So social events, yes, but destination weddings, from the day it started in Oman, we've been a part of it.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and
Okay.
the capacity of how much we were involved with it grew over time, because
Oh.
initially when we started this business, there was no infrastructure to have
Right.
destination weddings in Oman.
Right.
What I mean by that is the inventory it requires, the type of skill set it requires,
Right,
right? Because
right.
every community has different types of weddings, and everybody requires different sort of infrastructure, different types of investments.
Right.
So we have been doing this over the last 10 years, and now I can proudly say that we make everything in Oman.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
There is no external support unless absolutely necessary.
Wow.
That we do use from outside the country.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
That's amazing to hear, actually.
Yes, and I'm really proud of that. I feel like everybody that we work with
Right.
works so hard, and we managed to provide international standards
All made in
within
Oman.
the country.
Oh, absolutely.
And the first wedding was an Indian wedding.
Yes. So actually, can I tell you the first wedding that became really popular was the one that you mentioned that Sonam Kapoor was attending as a guest.
Right.
So somehow
it was quite a talk
that-
of the town, by the way.
Yeah. But that has nearly been like maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
And then
it's-
she was in her prime. Sonam
Yes.
Kapoor, right? Yeah.
So it was just that one post, right? Like I
Right,
think
right.
she was obviously attending as a guest,
Right.
and she put it up on Instagram.
Yeah, and there was the beach there in the
There
background.
was Shangri-La,
Yeah, oh,
actually, and
yeah.
there is this amazing property and this amazing backdrop, and obviously she put it up, and suddenly Oman started rolling from then.
Right, it got attention.
Yeah, it got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So that was the start. So it's
Okay.
nearly been 10 years to that.
Wow. So you guys organized that wedding.
Yes, we were actually decorating everything for that wedding, like all the setups, as
Okay.
well as being their local planners for everything that they required locally.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
Okay.
then post that, it's been quite a process, right? Like of getting better and
Right.
understanding what an Indian wedding entails, because we technically have about 6 to 9 events over 3 days.
Right.
It's
There are
very
a lot.
different from other weddings.
True that.
There's a lot that happens.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Right.
sometimes we're doing 3 events a day, 4 events a day. So that requires a lot of teams, that requires a lot of management, and that requires a lot of skill set.
True that. Yeah.
You're defying every single bone in your body at some point of time. Sometimes you're not sleeping for 24 hours, sometimes you're not sleeping for 48 hours.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, it's all about the results you get.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's such an amazing place to be,
Yeah.
at least for somebody like me, because that really makes me happy. Like to
Right.
see that person on their most special day, being so happy and coming to you and saying, "Listen, this was the best I could ever imagine my big day to be."
Right.
You know?
I was just listening to that.
Yeah, it is so
And
nice.
I feel until and unless you actually totally involved in the process,
Yeah.
that neither that satisfaction comes nor that finish or that product really comes out like the way it
Yeah.
should have been, right? So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that you're actually involved in each and every step
Very much.
of the wedding, right?
Very, very much.
Okay, right from finding a safety pin to like probably fixing the DJ's
Yeah.
wires. So you technically have done it all.
Yes, so I've done it all. Now I have an amazing team that obviously makes it all possible, because honestly, the more you want to grow,
Yeah.
you can't do it alone. It's not a one-man show at all.
Oh, yes.
You must have an amazing team,
Right.
and a team that has the same synergy with you, your company, same value system as you and the company. For me, eventually, yes, you get the money and somebody trusts you. That's all great, but the product has to be amazing. The service has to be amazing.
Then everybody's happy.
And then everybody's happy. My brides and grooms, they're from all over the world. So even if they're Indian or they're from Kuwait or they're from Lebanon or they're from anywhere, right? So we're working from different time zones with different time zones at any given point of time.
Right.
There are calls, like I'll give you an example. Last night, I had a call with somebody at 9:30 at night. My Zoom call time. There are brides and grooms from New York that we usually deal with. We're totally on a different time zone.
Wow.
We're working every single weekend. We're working every single night, especially during season time. Those days, you can't tell somebody, listen, it's like our time off.
Past my bedtime. I'm gonna
And
bed.
it's past my bedtime. No, that's not happening, right? I mean, that's not a good level of service.
Right.
I'm not saying that that's not an answer you can give somebody, but at least that's not what I have enjoyed doing. I'm very particular about answering people on time, and I'm really particular about the finesse we provide at an event.
Right.
Whatever budget that may be.
Right.
It has to be of a certain quality. It should showcase a touch of luxury. That's really important.
Right.
And that's why I think my involvement really does matter.
Right.
And that's why it is really important that trust that people have in me is well executed, right? That is really my goal.
Perfect.
So if you
Right.
had to point out one thing, you talk about skill sets,
Yeah.
service quality. There's just one thing which makes you.
Yeah.
Again, you have your team, you have your
Yeah.
company. That's true. But there's just one thing that makes you different from somebody else who does the same
Yes.
thing. What would that one thing be?
I think I'm crazy. No.
Well, that is required.
Yeah, that is
A little bit of
required.
crazy is good.
There's a little different level of madness. Obviously passion. But I know a lot of people are passionate. But I think there's a lot of hard work and that madness and that love and that, that reason of being that I have with the job I do. I feel like it's beyond a job for me. It means so much to me. I think it defines me in many ways.
Wow.
Beautiful.
And I feel like all of that together is something that I don't have a word for it.
I can see it in her eye.
Yeah, I know. And she cannot stop smiling when she's talking about all that
Yeah.
work, right? Okay, Kripa,
Yeah.
so you've got to take me through the process
Yes.
of how do you really plan? What
Yeah.
are the different departments that you have?
Right.
Because I've always been excited to know that how does this industry technically function? So
Sure.
let's say that next year is someone's wedding in my family and
Yeah.
they choose Oman to be the destination. They're flying around some 300 odd people here.
Yeah.
So now this is the requirement that I come to you with.
Yeah.
How are you going to go about it?
So the first thing we actually would do is, we start off with a call with the client, and we have recorded every single video, at least post-COVID, of all our work.
Oh,
Because
okay.
honestly, it's all about visuals now, and I'm sure you all know this
Right.
more than I can even
Yeah.
explain. Where social media is concerned, where recording good content is concerned, because today a place may look amazing, but I cannot explain it verbally. I can
Right.
explain it through a video. I can explain it through pictures.
Right.
Or there could be people who have attended that wedding who have potentially suggested us, right?
Right.
That is word of mouth, which is
yeah.
your classic
Yeah.
business,
Yeah, the best way.
marketing
Yeah.
language that we all speak. But having said that, what I would usually suggest is I would do a Zoom call with them. I'd show them videos. I would talk to them about how Oman operates in general.
Okay.
Post that, they would usually schedule in a trip to come to Oman where we would show them various properties.
Right.
Now, after this many years of experience, I pretty much know after speaking to a client on which property they're going to choose.
Okay. That's Wow.
Yeah.
yeah, that's where experience is like, okay, I know.
I feel like over time, when people know, what you do, they respect you, the work speaks for itself as well. They sort of understand and trust, your opinion.
Yeah.
However, it's our job to show them around. We'll show
Fair.
them around. Eventually, there's negotiations that take place with the hotel of their choice. A big part of Indian weddings, once the contract is signed, is food. That's like the
yeah.
longest conversation.
Yeah.
However, most of the properties in Oman are very well equipped for Indian weddings, and they have Indian chefs. And obviously, Indian weddings are not only about Indian food; it's also about international
Oh,
food,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, but food in general is a very big
Yeah,
topic.
that's a very important.
That's
Yeah.
something what
Yeah.
people even discuss once the wedding is over. So
Yeah.
we can't go wrong
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So I would say in general, it's like a 3 to 6 month process. It depends on, where you're from and how organized you are. And so if you're a business family, you're still okay with your 3-month mark. If you're into like you have a job, like you're a corporate and you're a bride who's working, and especially if you're from the US or the UK, you sometimes even plan your wedding 1 year in advance.
Whoa.
The reason being is people who are into the corporate in the corporate world, they actually don't have leaves that easy in that part of the world, and nor
true
do their
that.
friends have leave that easy.
True.
So they want to plan that very much in advance because they plan their leaves 1 year in advance.
Wow.
So we've experienced that, and then we've experienced a lot of business families, whether they're Indian from Dubai or they're from India or other parts of the world, where we've managed to do weddings between 3 to 6 months as well.
Wow.
Wow. So yeah.
But that is challenging for you, like 3 to 6 months. now.
Not really. I
You
feel,
can. But what's
yes.
challenging? Like a week's time is challenging.
You won't believe it, but we've
Have
done that
you?
too.
No.
Not a destination wedding, but like so many, like there are certain people who will come to me last minute because I understand them. They were like, in 1 week we have a wedding, and I'm like, yeah, sure, it's done.
I want to understand
Do you
the
even take them
backstory.
seriously? Like,
I
are you
do.
serious that you're really
I
getting
take them even more seriously because then I'm like, oh my God, like, they trust me, and I have 1 week to execute a
Wow.
wedding. But that has happened. But see, again, we have our own inventory. We have our own production unit. Eventually, when you have all of this in place, you have the capability of executing things faster than one can imagine.
Correct. Because you
Yeah.
already ready. Like you
Yeah.
don't have to start on
Yeah.
scratch. You said you just have to just kind of.
And one of the biggest skill set for the job I come, from the background I come from, is you must be extremely patient and calm.
Oh, I was just going to ask
Because
you
the
about
bride
that.
and groom are usually going to be all,
Yeah.
oh my God, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Because
It's
if
also
you're
like that.
patient and you're calm, everybody around you is patient and calm.
Yeah,
Whether
that
it's your
energy just
client, yeah,
translates.
it is 100% energy. If you can't be patient and calm, this business is not for you.
Woo. Okay, then it's gone further down. Like, no.
No, you have the energy, but I really believe everyone's made for different things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Whatever makes you happy, but yeah, it's. I feel it's about that. So 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
Just going back to the point, 3 to 6 months
Is
is
a good
good
enough.
time frame.
Okay.
Food, location, all of that comes. As priority, and then
Right.
of course decor, because
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
everyone wants their wedding to look beautiful.
Yeah.
So if I had to categorize the important points for a wedding in general,
Yeah. Just the
it would
categories.
be venue, it would be food, it would be decor, it would be entertainment.
Perfect. Okay.
Wow.
and-
So these
In
are the
that order.
categories.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Not really in that order, but in just.
But
in
all four
terms
of them are actually like the
very
most important ones.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
really believe if you're coming to a wedding and it looks really pretty, but you're just sitting and doing nothing, that's not going
Yeah,
to work,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
If you're
yeah.
going to come to a wedding and nothing is organized, that's going to
Yeah.
be even worse.
Yeah.
And if you're going to come to a wedding just with entertainment, but like nothing looks good, that's not going to work.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
feel like,
It's like everything has got its
Yeah.
own importance. Like
So
you have
for
to take
me-
care of a fufaji, you have to take care of a very enthu friend,
Yeah.
you have to take care of the bride and groom, and you have to
Yeah.
take care of the family as well. And all of
100%.
them, keeping them sane,
Yeah.
there are different categories that you put them into. Right?
Yes, yes.
So yeah, just so that they're busy
Yeah.
and they don't really talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you mean there.
Yeah.
Oh, very
What was the
interesting.
most interesting setups that you've done?
Okay, so I fall in love with every single event we do every single time. But if I have to talk about a unique experience for me, I'll talk about one that we did a birthday where we took over Anantara Jabal Akhtar.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, and this was in the month of December,
Oh, must be
where
like
it's
lovely.
cold,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it was only about 70 to 80 guests who were attending this birthday.
Okay.
And it was obviously going to be freezing cold.
Yeah.
One of the mandates we had, from the birthday girl was when my friends walk into any venue, which were all outdoors, they should walk in with normal clothes.
That is a very strange request.
But it was the most interesting project for me because firstly, for us, Jabal Akhtar is like a destination event.
Okay.
The only way to go up there is with a 4-wheel drive.
Right.
Everything is about 2.5 hours away from you. Like our warehouse is 2.5 hours away from you.
Yeah, so that's a challenge.
The only way to go up there is 4-wheel drive. Everybody has to be housed over there when you're doing a 3-day event. So firstly, like your planning has to be just brilliant.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
So
because
anyways,
logistics are like all over the place here.
correct.
Yeah.
So what we decided to do is we covered most of these spaces.
Okay.
We came up with the concept where we covered all the spaces
Okay.
to ensure that there was enough heaters and the cold couldn't come in.
Oh.
Now, can you imagine the spaces? I'm talking about the Anantara courtyard. I'm talking about the pool side of Anantara. I'm talking about the outside part of the ballroom.
Big space.
These are
And
large
you don't get to know.
spaces. Yeah. And it's not like we're doing this in Muscat City. We're doing this on a mountain.
Transporting all those.
Transporting, and also when you're doing something for the first time, it's very exciting from where it's not nerve-wracking for me, but it's very exciting for me because you're coming up with something that you never thought about. Like I never thought of going up in the mountain and covering most of these spaces, making sure the coverings are transparent so you don't lose the beauty of the space, and then making it so glamorous that it looks out of the, like, it's from a different part of the universe. And there was an interesting concept because we calculated efficiency to be at 50% because our laborers had to work with gloves. They were not used to it. They were working with thermals, they were working with gloves, but it's all about anticipating everything that could potentially go wrong. I always anticipate things that potentially could go wrong and then work backwards. Like this has been something I have learned over time because honestly, at every event, there's no concept of perfection and it's okay.
Wow, okay, it's easy to say that, but I'm sure that even you struggle with it. Even you want that everything should be like the flowers should look perfect, or the table should, the napkins should be
You can do the best
fine.
you can do, you know, and then you have to let go. But that 100% effort and making sure you planned it extremely well is really important.
Yeah.
Like that is really important. And then eventually there are things which are, not under your control and you have to let go. But again, I feel like this has happened to me 13 years down the line.
So
If you ask me the same question maybe 5-7 years back, maybe pre-COVID, everything used to annoy me, everything used to bother me. I used to take things very emotionally because I was so connected with everything I do. Today I'm connected to everything I do, but I feel like I can let go a bit better. You know, so it's been quite a process.
That comes with experience as well.
Yeah.
The more events you do, the more time passes, you just technically learn on the way. Like, okay, this is how it's going to happen. Fair enough.
So-
Well, I have a lot more to ask here. Now, tell me something that you've told me that, okay, this was one of those crazy birthday parties that you've organized. Now, you've also organized these weddings where you have these guests coming in, special celebrities coming in. So give me the scoop. Give me like something that, that we generally don't get to know, but you get to know behind the scenes. That what are these crazy demands that they come with? Because I've heard stories like, they have like a diet chart or something, and you're like, there's a separate chef coming along with these stars. Are these stories all true?
I mean, honestly, I can talk about like few artists that have come through. So they do have some requirements of their dietary, like what they eat. There was one recently who was like in his list of things, he wanted a specific hairdryer of a specific brand. So I found that so interesting. I was like, oh my God, that's brilliant. But honestly, I've not had any issues with any celebrity drama. They're all like lovely. And obviously they need to give a list of requirements because you don't know, maybe they're performing in different parts of the world where they've not got what should have been respectfully given to them, right? So all these guys come with like guidelines of what there must be in their room. And that just makes it very easy for us to know and then easy for them to be happy. And then they go on stage, perform really nicely and come back.
And everybody's happy.
So basically you coordinate with the artist manager.
Yes.
And they give you a list of things that are required and then you just go with the flow and this is how you technically do it. Oh wow, that's lovely.
So that's celebrities on one side. What about the bride and groom? Like, how do you tackle bridezillas?
So basically I'm telling you, this is a full, like a job which is it's like a relationship management job. The job I do in general. I feel like from the time, I can tell you something about wedding planners, event planners in general. You have to be extremely happy conversing with them. You should be vibing with them in order to deal with them. Right? Because you're going to have your most important day planned with them. You're going to be talking to them for at least 3 to 6 months every single day.
Correct.
If not more than once. And what is really important is this person doesn't have to be your best friend, of course, but they have to be a personality that you enjoy working with. So I really believe one of my major jobs here is to sort of instill that confidence and have that relationship. I think I share that with everyone. Like I share that with families. I share that with the bride, with the groom. Last night I was on a call with a bride who's from Lebanon and lives in Dubai. And literally the bride and groom called me saying that, listen, we trust you. we know you're going to do your best.
Yeah.
We're working. We don't have the time to constantly keep coming, but we've seen your work. We really like it.
Yeah.
I met them one time for coffee when they came to Muscat, and they were like, we can't imagine anybody else but you to do our job.
Right.
So basically, this is the type of relationship you build with somebody. So whether it's a bridezilla or not, whether it's a groom, whether, in an Indian wedding, you have uncle, aunt, mother, father, grandmother,
the whole
grandfather. Eventually, you have to be somebody who they can trust.
Right.
Who, they're coming to a different world, they're coming to a different country. They need to know they're sorted.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's my largest job now to do. Like that's where I fit into my team. That's where I fit into my business.
Because I think that's an event like how I said that it's like an event for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Because that's that one thing that the family is going to talk about for the rest of their lives. The couple is going to go back to the pictures and just kind of relive those moments.
Yeah.
The cousins and the family and the everyone who attended. I think that those 3 days are going to be talked for another 20-25 years.
Yeah.
So just to make every moment very memorable, I totally understand and I get it when you say that you have to have that relationship with them to understand what they really want.
100%.
Okay, so talking about different weddings, I understand that you've not just done Indian weddings, you have also organized and planned Lebanese weddings, Omani weddings, Kuwaiti weddings.
Yes.
Oh my God. Tell me all about it. Tell me their different traditions and what's the most exciting part about their weddings.
So their weddings are more like walking down the aisle and
Right.
you have this beautiful arch
wow.
and then, this outdoor setting
Right.
and it's a close family, close friends. I'm
Right.
talking about the Kuwaiti and the Lebanese weddings that,
Okay.
we've organized.
Right.
Of course, at the end of it, everybody's partying.
Yeah.
Right?
Dance is the most important element, no matter which part of the world are you getting married or which tradition are you getting married in. But
So that's like the common factor.
Yeah. Dance
I
to
think
heck.
every wedding at the end of the day, everybody wants to celebrate, everybody wants to enjoy, and I think that's the beauty of it, right?
Right,
Celebration is something that brings people together.
True.
That's how I've experienced, within all these different communities and cultures. I think that's the common point.
Right.
Where Omani weddings are concerned, they have 2 really important events.
Okay.
One is the milka and one is their main wedding, and it's usually a ladies' event, and everybody's dressed up beautifully, and the bride is of course going to be entering in a really grand way. Finally, there's dancing and good food and entertainment. So that is again a common factor.
Right.
Where Indian weddings are concerned, I think the reason why it's more spoken about is because it's never one day or one event affair. It's usually a 1-week affair or a 4-night affair or a 3-night affair. So, it would entail anything from 6 to 9 events. And usually there is this welcome dinner and then there is, haldi or a mehndi, which is usually their rituals. Then there will be, the main wedding. And the one people love the most is the Sangeet, which is literally a party where the family is performing and then there is a performer and you're partying till 3-4 in the morning. And so again, dance, music, good food. I think that's something that is a constant amongst all the communities.
Right. You've just given me the answer in a very fast forward way when it comes to the Indian weddings. For our non-Indian audience and the people who are very excited to just see the updates of the Indian weddings, of how grand they are, why don't you just take them through about all the main events that happen, starting from puja to haldi to sangeet. What is different between these events and how is it? Like, how do we celebrate? Come on, go for it, Krupa.
So if I'm talking about a destination wedding, the first day when the guests come in, there's usually a welcome dinner, which also turns into an engagement.
Right.
And these are usually like half the guests that have just arrived, right? Because it's like the close
close
ones who
ones.
come one night before. So again, there's music and there's good food, but there's also like a little bit of an engagement ceremony, which could also be a ritual or it could just be a ring exchange. Then the next day, usually is the mehndi, which is the henna event. Again, there is dancing, there is singing, it's beautiful, it's colorful.
Yeah.
And, mehndi is something the bride usually, she puts it a couple of days in advance. But on that specific day, she'll just put a little bit in front of people, just, as something that she can take pictures of.
Yeah.
But eventually...
That's the current trend, by the way.
Yeah.
Gone are the days when the bride would
It's
sit
sitting
with
for
the rest of
5
the family.
hours.
Yeah, and she's
No.
sitting. No, she
all
wants to
things
look
that I
nice
see on
in the
TV,
photos.
so-
Yeah. No, she wants her photos and the videos to be nice because that is something that's
Yeah.
going to be seen for the rest of the life.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the latest trend, by the way.
And
Go on.
also, I think she doesn't want to be sitting for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
She'd rather be interacting with all the guests who've
Correct.
come to spend time with her.
Yeah. And dance also.
And dance. And, so it's pretty much like a typical Bollywood movie, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's singing, dancing, eating,
Yeah.
dressing up,
Yeah.
wearing jewelry,
Yeah.
all of that. Like, I think that's the world I enjoy,
Yeah.
That's the world
That's
which is so
your happy
pretty.
place.
But so then we have the haldi or we have the mehndi, depending on, what they want the family believes in.
Yeah.
Right.
That
Yeah.
specific night, usually you would have a sangeet. Sangeet is, again, an outfit change, jewelry change, decor change.
Yeah, setup change. I like how she's visualizing in her head and then she's saying she's like planning a wedding right now in her head.
In my head.
So yeah, these are
Yeah.
the steps that they're going to happen. So yeah, coming on to Sangeet, which is like a proper competition between
Yeah.
the two sides.
Yes.
Go.
So when the bride and the groom walk in now, like I think another big trend is about how they walk in, right? Like, are they walking in to a specific song? Are they walking in with their guests,
Yeah.
which is their friends,
Yeah.
And they'll dance and walk in, and this entry has become quite a deal.
Yeah.
And then after that, there's usually family performances where each side has some dances that they've already prepared,
Yeah.
back home with their
Yeah.
choreographer,
Yeah.
which is also pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
It's again like you feel like you're in a movie.
Yeah.
And eventually you have a performer who performs or a DJ who takes on the event.
Yeah.
So this is usually a sangeet.
Yeah.
This would go on till like 3, 4, 5 in the morning, depending again on the family.
Yeah.
Then the following day, usually the lunches are more relaxed. Some people make an occasion out of it. Some people just make it, pretty relaxed because they want people to get ready for the Bharat. The Bharat is the procession
Yeah.
in which the groom is dancing his way to the wedding venue. And that is where we have a car and we have a DJ and we have people playing the dole, the drums, taking the procession to the wedding venue where the bride side is usually waiting to welcome the groom side.
Right.
And then we have a traditional ceremony, which is usually walking around the fire. But then there is also different communities in India. If it is a Sikh wedding, usually it's, like a, holy book, which they don't walk around the fire, but they
Right.
have a little prayer.
Right.
And if it is the other, families, they usually will walk around the fire. So
Right.
even walking around the fire, some people do 4 rounds around the fire, some do 7 rounds
Yeah.
around the fire. So it really depends on where you come from and what you do really.
Right.
The wedding ceremony is then put to an end, sometimes with dinner, sometimes the reception follows. And that's about it. And there's always an after party.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
when do you finally breathe?
After the after party.
Yeah, very nicely she's taken us through the entire process. Now
Yeah.
tell me something.
Yeah.
If someone's planning a destination wedding where they take Oman as a destination and a 3-day event with all the functions that you just mentioned, what is the kind of budget you think that they should keep in mind?
See, budget is something that is really tough to comment on.
Yeah.
Just because
I mean,
of
I'm
the
not
fact-
talking about these HNIs and I'm not talking about these people who really don't worry
Yeah.
or bother about that. But
Yeah.
on average, if you can just give us a little idea about a decent wedding,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying, of 300 guests here again,
Yeah.
where they're doing a planning a year prior.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what are the kind of budgets that we are talking here?
So for this now, I'll answer saying call us. So I'll tell you why.
Free consultation.
Yeah, free consultation. But like the reason being, there is so many different factors involved in a
Correct.
destination wedding.
Correct.
Whether it is even an Omani wedding, whether it's an Indian wedding, whether it's a Kuwaiti wedding, Lebanese wedding, any of that, right?
Yeah.
the reason we're sort of known for what we do is because we don't have a format. We don't have
Right.
packages.
Right.
It's something that we understand what you really want, and then we take it to the next level.
I know that you're not going to give me a number, but I'm still going to ask you the question.
Call us. Call us.
Okay, the last. Okay,
Music events Oman.
let me put it another way. The last wedding that you actually planned
Yeah.
or organized, what was the budget like?
Oh, God.
Oh, come on now, come on. You can give me at least a number so that we know that, okay,
No, you know, we
this is how
actually-
much you have to do the SIPs for, or you have to save so much if you're really thinking of a destination
So the way I
wedding.
can give you an answer for this is most Indians, the minute their children are born, they
Yeah.
start saving money. So start from now.
80% of your savings are going to go
Towards
for
the wedding.
Yeah,
Which is 3
for,
days.
for just 3 days, which is going to
Yeah.
happen after 20 years.
Yes.
So you have to save that much.
Yes.
But yeah, that's what they do.
So that's
yeah.
the budget.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay, if I have to give you a rule of thumb, okay,
Yeah,
maybe I
okay.
should answer this a bit better. But
Yeah.
whatever you're spending on your hotel spend, what I have always realized that whatever you spend on your hotel, which is for the rooms and for the F&B,
Okay.
you need an equal amount of budget for everything else.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
That's my rule
Yes.
of thumb.
So that's a 50-50 there.
Yes.
Ah.
Okay.
But
you
it
got
is-
something.
Yes, but it's not a fixed formula,
Right,
right? At the
right,
end of the day,
right.
nobody's stopping you from like not overly decorating a space, or you don't need a celebrity entertainer at every given point
Right,
of time.
right.
But I have always noticed, and this is something I have understood over time through experience, that
Your
A is
accommodation
equal
and
to
food.
B.
Got it. Got
Yeah.
it.
Nice.
Well, that's
I like
nicely put. Yeah. So now I can do the math in my head. Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
now, like,
We've
now,
found the
like,
location
now I
now.
understand as to
Yeah.
why can't you really answer that, because it totally depends as to what property are you hosting your guests in.
Exactly.
What are the things that you require and all of that.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me
Properties.
another thing. How have the trends really changed? Like you said that, these days, bride and groom, they really want to know as to how they're going to enter.
Yeah.
Or the after party is really important.
Yeah.
Or there are some new trends. So tell me something more about that. That what are the new things that have started happening now, which never used to happen 10 or 20 years ago?
Yes, I think after parties are a big part of it because
Okay.
eventually the bride and groom will do what their parents really need to do,
Yeah.
but they also want to eventually be happy.
Listen, we've taken your money to get married, so we'll do everything what you ask us to do
Yeah.
in the 3 days. But after that, we're going to do.
Yeah,
I'm
so I
liking
actually
it.
have a very interesting after party coming up this week actually.
Oh, lovely.
And it is basically a groom who loves football.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and he
Nice.
loves Chelsea.
Okay.
As
Okay.
a football club.
Okay.
And it was interesting because I don't watch football, but I hear the names of all
learn
these
with-
clubs
Yeah.
because I have 2 boys, my sons, and
Yeah.
then my husband. They all love football.
Okay.
Right? So this groom, he loves Chelsea, and I'm laughing with him about it. I'm like, listen, I need consultation from my kids for this now.
Right.
But no, so he wants to do an after party,
Okay.
which typically somebody would want to do something really glamorous and like make it look like a club, make
Yeah.
it look like a bar.
Yeah.
But he wants a Chelsea themed after party where he literally wants a goal to shoot like a ball at. He wants, like a DJ booth to look like a goal, and he wants like the dance floor to look like a pitch.
Wow.
And it's so
Wow.
fun.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, that's quite a trend, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you are doing what you love.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what is something that resonates with you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I feel like going back to your question,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are very happily doing what they resonate with.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also have, certain families who are local, but like their kids studied abroad and, they have a lot of international friends who are now coming in for their wedding. So of
Right.
course they will do their traditional,
Yeah.
wedding and milka, and it's beautiful, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But at the end of it, they want to host their guests and showcase our amazing country.
Right.
So
right.
they would do a party on the beach, for instance.
Wow. Wow.
So these are the things I have realized are trends that I see here.
Right.
That do what you love to do and do what you can resonate with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are the new things
New
that
trends
I see.
that are
I'm going
happening.
to go back to when we were talking about the destinations.
Yeah.
Can you tell us few of the most popular destinations that you've actually had hosted weddings at?
Right.
Over here. in the
Okay.
world?
So basically, I would say Shangri-La and Bustan.
I knew that was
have-
coming.
Yeah.
They stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shangri-La has always stood out because of the amount of venues they have. I think the landscape is stunning.
right.
They have the amount of rooms that
To accommodate all the guest list. Yeah,
that a destination wedding requires.
Yeah.
And also, they're now so hands-on with Indian weddings. They understand them. It's
The
like
food, the
Yeah.
arrangement, the
Yeah.
temperament, everything. they do.
everything.
Yeah.
Bustan is brilliant when you have like your really grand weddings and those buyout 250 room sort of weddings. Then Bustan is also another obvious choice, and they do
Right.
it beautifully well as well.
Right.
What I've realized over time is when people ask me which is better, I can never choose. It's like
Yeah.
choosing between two kids, right? Because
Yeah.
I feel like every person who comes into this country, it's so personality driven. You can walk into one property and say, this doesn't work for me. And another person can walk into the same property and say, wow, this is totally my vibe.
Right, right.
So it's very person driven,
Right,
you know.
right.
So I would say those two. Now we also have obviously the newer properties. We've done a couple of destination weddings at Jumeirah, which was stunning. And then now we have St. Regis and Mandarin. Mandarin, actually, we just did a buyout event,
Lovely.
which went beautifully well. All I can say is we have amazing hospitality in this country.
Oh,
We're lucky
absolutely.
that way.
Yeah.
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 I think what comes across really well, and I've heard this constantly, is that people here are so genuine and so hospitable. They don't have to put up an act.
They're just inherent.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
just
Yeah.
born
It comes
that way.
naturally.
Yeah, and this
Yeah.
runs across the entire country. So
True. Very true.
every single property.
Yeah.
I have such amazing relationships with all of them.
Yeah.
They're just all such beautiful people.
Yeah.
And it's such a privilege to work with everyone.
True that.
So I have commonly heard this, even from people coming from outside,
Yeah.
that I think the hospitality we offer here is unparalleled.
Absolutely. They actually genuinely go out of their way
Yeah.
if they want to help you. If you compare it to any other country
Yeah.
where they honestly don't care.
They don't
It's like,
care.
this is your job. My job was only to help you till here. Now you're on your own. Yeah.
Figure it
But
out.
here you genuinely feel that the person will make sure that you are sorted right till the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And-
like a common feedback.
Yeah, and I really, for all these years, 13 years, like literally, like I'm so proud of, where I live because of the people I associate with.
Right.
Because I can proudly carry this banner on my shoulder when I am selling Oman
Yeah.
that you're going to be well looked after.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
never a point of time I would say we really faltered.
Yeah.
It's never happened, and touch wood, and I hope this this stays the way it but it's deeply rooted.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think that
it
ever
comes
is
like
gonna
how I said,
change.
it just comes naturally.
Yeah.
You can see that they're not trying too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
100%.
Let's talk about personalization.
Yes.
I think that plays a very important role when it comes to weddings because what are the gifts that the guests
Yeah.
are going to take back home, or how are they made to feel when they enter the room, or
Yeah.
how are they received, or in the
Yeah.
car? Because I've heard of some crazy ideas people doing.
Yeah.
Because there's this one story where what they did. So the route was quite long. Like it was at least 30 minutes for them to reach from the airport till the venue.
Yeah.
So what they actually did was they recorded a personalized message and they gave those pen drives to the cars that they were going
Yeah.
in.
Okay.
And each of the guests had a different pen drive which had a message recorded by the bride and groom.
Yeah.
So that's how you make them feel that, listen, we're really thankful that you're coming for our wedding. So this is one of the crazy ideas that I have heard. I'm sure that you must have heard of many more.
Yeah.
So till what extent can this personalization go, and what are some of the crazy things that you have done?
So the example you just gave, it's been there, done that. Like
Okay.
that is something that is beautiful because some people would put a message after
Yeah.
which a playlist follows of music.
right,
The
right.
music that a bride and groom could enjoy. Like that is something that
Yeah.
is actually a beautiful start, and we've done that before.
Yeah.
Also, Oman has these beautiful scenic routes that people enjoy. Recently, I was hosting only an 8-people group that came
Okay.
in again from outside the country. It was for a forum retreat.
Right.
And they basically said that, the guide who came to pick us up, the driver who came to pick us up, turned
Yeah.
into being a guide, right? Like,
Okay.
and he spoke to us so much about Oman and
Nice.
this route. And I think, again, going back to the hospitality, I think
Yeah.
the person who drove, this specific group was the one who already set the tone.
Lovely.
Exactly.
Was a great storyteller, then I would say. Yeah.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of them are. And
Yeah.
I think because we're...
And they want to share.
Yeah, they want to
yeah.
share. They're so proud of where they come
Right,
from. And
right.
I think the value system is very strong. And I
Right.
think that also resonates with a lot of people. Now, once you get to the hotel, I think we bring in a lot of these Omani artists.
Oh, okay.
The Omani bands. And
Right.
we bring in that Omani flavor and the dates and the
Yeah, yeah.
halwas and,
Yeah.
all the Omani hospitality, the kahwa.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Bakur when they
Yes,
walk in.
Yeah.
yes. It's about playing with senses, right? I
Right.
mean, that still stays the constant.
Right,
And
right.
once they go to the rooms, we usually have a hamper.
Right.
A lot of local products, actually.
Oh,
That's,
nice.
we do make sure that does come.
So that they get to experience. Yeah.
That's a huge part of the experience, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, these are the different ways we usually welcome guests, and
Right.
we try and bring in. Usually, one of these events are usually Oman driven, and we bring in a lot of artisans actually from the village, and
Wow.
it's so beautiful, and people actually appreciate it quite a bit.
Of course, yeah,
Yeah.
because they are experiencing a new country, so they want to
Yeah.
know and they want to get closer to the tradition and
Yeah.
to the locals and to feel as to what is the whole culture like
100%.
and how it feels
and
like.
yeah, we beautifully bring that around, and we're very proud of showing Oman. So
Yeah.
that usually happens quite a bit, at least one event at every single wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you just spoke about an event that you hosted for a forum where you were just
Yeah.
hosting around 8 people. Now,
Yeah.
coming from, let's move on to the social and the corporate events also that you guys
Yeah.
organize, right?
Yeah.
Recently, if I'm not mistaken, I think you just organized an event for Rolex as
Yes.
well, like proper luxury events
Yeah.
that happen here in Oman.
Yes.
So, till what extent have you gone there? Tell me some crazy stories about that or the events that you've done.
Yeah. So I would say that around COVID, we reached a point where we were like, okay, now what do we do next, right? Like
Right.
that's the time I actually got to thinking about how I want to take the company forward.
Okay.
There was a point of time where somebody had asked me like, what do you want to do in life? What's the vision of your company? I'm like, my answer at that time was like, everything that comes my way, I want it to be mine, right? Like I was,
okay.
because I'm so passionate about
Yeah,
what I do,
yeah,
and that was
yeah.
my reply.
And you're admitting it. Wow. Which is like,
It's a
good.
progress, right?
Yeah,
It is something that that was my response, and that
Right.
was my truth then.
Okay.
Now it's very clear where I just focused on the fact that I am going to focus on luxury events.
Oh, lovely.
That's what
Okay.
I'm best at. I'm pretty
Right.
sure of it. And
Right.
I know that there's a market for everybody, and there should be space for everybody, which there is.
Yeah.
And this is my space. Like, this
Okay.
is what I want to focus on. This is what I'm good at. This is what my team is good at. And this is what we're known for.
Fair enough.
So basically, our job is now more than just destination weddings. We're in the business of managing luxury events. Now, whether the luxury event is for 2 people, whether it's an event for 8 people, or whether it's a dinner for 50 or 80
Yeah.
guests,
Yeah.
or it's an event for 500 guests. So, I mean, all of this falls now into our bracket.
Right.
Now, doing social events and corporate events within this luxury space is something we started enjoying and doing even more post-COVID.
Oh.
We've done it before, but
Okay.
we were always known for destination weddings, and now we're also known for doing luxury events.
Right. So, how big is the market here in Oman for that?
There are people who will come across at any given time, wanting a luxury event. See, a
Right.
luxury event doesn't mean it's an expensive event.
Right.
It's things that are done tastefully.
Ah, right.
And what is your signature style, if you had to say?
I love minimalistic, classy, good details on everything that we do, good finishing. I feel like these are the things that sort of, our systems and value systems that we have been following. And that matters a lot. Like you can tell that it's our touch because of that.
Right.
Eventually over a point, I don't think I'm greedy for money beyond a point. I mean, of course, it's important when you're running a business,
Right,
And it's
right.
really important when there's so many families that you're providing to.
Yeah.
But having said that, I would not ever compromise on the product
Quality, yeah.
and the service. So
Yeah,
I think that really is something that matters,
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what it is.
Yeah. When it comes to weddings, I know when you just see the set or the decor,
Yeah.
immediately you can say that this is the Kripa's wedding.
Oh.
Like she's the one who's done it. Now, when it comes to these luxury events or when it comes to these social and corporate events, what is your signature style there? What is that okay,
Yeah.
fine, like this is a Kripa's event?
Yeah, I think it looks amazing.
Okay.
Usually, and then the detailing is fabulous.
Right.
It's well planned. We're also into the planning process, right? From
Okay.
start to the end. When guests walk in, what is it that will happen?
Yeah.
What is the interactive element going around at the entrance?
Yeah.
What are they being served?
Yeah.
How is it being served? Are everybody's dietary requirements taken care of?
Right.
Like those form of details, right? Like you need to look into all
Yeah.
of that in
Yeah.
order for the event to be good.
Yeah.
Again, you can't have an event that looks good with nothing else.
Right.
So I think bringing it all together,
Yeah.
then when they're walking into the venue, I
Yeah.
mean, there has to be that wow moment. It doesn't always have to be maybe super grand, but you can tell that there is this one grand moment that everybody's talking about. There is some entertainment
Like how
that
you
people
have
are
a
talking
statement
about.
piece, you have some
Yeah.
statement
Yeah.
Kripa
Yeah.
item there.
I think we like that statement moment, that wow moment. I think what makes me super happy is like when somebody is, for instance, it's a ballroom, when somebody enters. I love opening the door when everybody's accumulated in the pre-function area. So recently I was at an event and I had my photographer and I was like, can you go behind the door and capture all these faces for me? Because it just makes me happy. I don't
Absolutely.
know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I'm-
That's the result. That's
People are looking there and Kripa's looking at them.
yeah, I'm not kidding. And there was this moment where the doors open and I was standing after the door, of course, because I was like, I need to see everybody's reaction and the photographer is waiting. Everybody walks in with their phone out, taking a video of the venue.
Wow.
And that's it. That was my happiest moment.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I feel like everything that I may have been tired with or tired of or any moment of exhaustion is gone right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, just to get that Kripa's touch in any event,
Yeah.
If there were any tricks or hacks that you can actually suggest or give it to people that this will make your ordinary event from an ordinary event to a very extraordinary one.
Yeah.
Because what happens these days is that if a company is also organizing an event,
Yeah.
the marketing team will get in touch with an event company.
Yeah.
They will give them a little brief and then the execution happens.
Yeah.
Now, you will see that monotony somewhere that, okay, all the events are looking the same.
Yeah.
Now, if you had to give a little trick or tip to these people who are getting in touch with these event organizers
Right.
or are organizing events
Yeah.
at their end, these are the things that they should definitely keep in mind just
Yeah.
to make that event look slightly better.
Okay, so I personally firstly feel that when you're giving a planner and a decorator a job, give them everything.
What do you mean when you say that?
Because some people ask people to do partial jobs. So like somebody will tell me only come and do the setup.
Okay.
Now the event I was just talking about, we were just involved with everything. The guest experience to the menu planning to all the
It's a
entertainment
holistic
coming.
thing
Like a
that you do.
holistic
Yes.
thing. The reason being is everybody who is working at a company, of course, has their own job to do. Right? Like
Correct.
if you're working for a corporate, you have multiple jobs to do and
Correct.
that's your focus.
Correct.
Us as event planners, our focus is to make sure the event experience is just fabulous, right?
Right.
I believe that even if it means that it's an extra spend, give the entire ownership to somebody you truly trust.
Okay.
So that they can look into all the minute details that brings the whole event together.
Right.
Correct.
Now
Right.
again, I still go back to the point saying that, okay, you've Krupa, come and do the setup. Fair enough, setup done. I have left.
Okay.
Now, what they do after, or what additionally they do, is not in my jurisdiction, and nor was it given to me as a job to do.
Right.
But if I was given a 50 people gala night and told that this is my budget and this should entail everything that needs to make this event fabulous, then I'm going to do my job and I'm going to work with the
Fair
hotel.
enough.
I'm going to work with the vendors. I'm going to talk to the entertainers. I'm
Yeah.
going to make this amazing menu and I'm going to make it look beautiful. And
Yeah.
that whole ownership is on me.
Yeah.
So I really believe that is the best way to take this forward to make sure it's really amazing. Now, if it reaches a point where the event is not meant to be that big and, it was somebody just organizing, a smaller event.
Okay.
I would again say that what is really important is the warmth of the host. That I've always believed in. I feel like the welcoming of your guests and, ensuring that they feel like you're so happy to have them and is not yet just another event. I think that cannot be replaced. That is not something even I can provide.
Yeah.
So I think the warmth of the host is really important.
Yeah.
And then details of what you do for people is really important, right? So if you can get into those details, understand that target market and understand what do they enjoy the most and then give them what they really need instead of imagining that what you love. Even when I've always spoken to my brides and any of these, different clients that I, do events for, I've always tried to understand what is their personality, what is that they really want. It's not about me doing something for somebody. It's about what they really want and I'm doing it in my way for them.
Yeah, correct.
So that's also really important. Understanding the target, understanding who the guests are.
Yeah.
You know, figuring out what they will enjoy.
Right.
Not doing the standard thing, okay, call this person, call this person, call this person.
Right.
But these things would have worked for somebody else, but maybe it's not working for somebody else at all.
Yeah.
It's really important to know that. It's not like a copy-paste situation.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
you have to get into details.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. If you were ever given a choice between handling one particular part of an event versus handling the entire event.
Yeah.
In the entire event, you're slightly making lesser money, but here you're just handling this, you would still go with the second one.
Yeah, I think I've enjoyed combinations of both because, you know, it really depends, right? You want to be wanted also.
Yeah, correct. You can't be saying,
It increases your value, your brand value.
there comes her, the master's degree. It's like, okay, I've done marketing and entrepreneurship, by the way, so of course that's going to be there. Fair enough.
No, I mean, you know, obviously being a part of the whole thing is really nice because then it brings the whole thing together.
You
and
have
I
slightly
think-
more control.
Okay, going back to something that you said earlier, that when somebody asked you that what do you want to do, what is your vision, you said that you wanted to do everything.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't say no. Has that changed?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you how it's changed a bit. I'm not good at saying no. Okay, in general, it's not my forte, and I think I need to learn that better. And I keep trying to be like, okay, you need to say no. You know, others are going to take it. You know, people can take advantage of you. Situations can be not right for you. Maybe
I mean,
it's
what
not-
if it's a ridiculous budget and they're like, Krupa, you have to do it. That's it. Like, you're the best, you have to do
No,
it.
that I say no.
And then the smile comes, sorry, I will not be able to do
yeah. I mean, you know, negotiations actually with people that I have negotiations with are pretty practical. I'm not saying they don't negotiate. They of course negotiate, but they understand the value we're providing them. So where budgets are concerned, of course I say no. And there is that negotiation and there is that meeting at, you know, in a middle point. But I'll give you an example. During COVID, you know, I wanted to get into a lot of local weddings and things like that. And then, you know, I used to get budgets that were great maybe for another company. You know, a lot of companies here do packages, you know, and things like that for weddings, which I don't do.
Okay.
So now when I get those coming my way, like I'll always be like, you know, my budget is X amount onwards.
Okay.
You know, I will never agree to anything below that, not by saying no, but I'll just say this is my budget and this is what I
That's a very
start with.
polite way of saying that,
Yeah.
excuse me,
Yeah.
that's not happening.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But sometimes even the client itself, you know that I don't know if I can work with this person. They have
Yeah.
unrealistic demands. Forget the budget side.
Yeah.
How do you go about tackling that? How do you
So by the way,
Throw
I've had that.
Tell us about
But I'm actually somebody who's a very patient and a calm person, and I've realized I can melt people.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, interesting.
I know it's overconfidence. I know, like with the way I'm
But
saying
that's also
it.
a skill, which I am not surprised that you have it. Yeah. Okay.
I have nicer way to say things to people. And then again, getting them to trust me is something that I'm good at. Because I know I can do a certain things. And I feel like eventually they warm into things, right? Like they warm up to you. They warm up to the company, the people you have. They warm up to your value sets, you know. So eventually it all comes true. I haven't had a chance to make it otherwise, fortunately, so far. So I don't say no. However, I have nicer ways to say certain things and put my point across so that I'm comfortable. Because you don't want to be working in a situation where you're unhappy, you're uncomfortable.
I'll tell you something about Kripa, which she will not admit or mention it here. With her as a person, I've known her from quite a few years. And with her, the first time when I spoke to her, no, it was a little formal. But in the second time you speak to her, you will feel like as if you have known her for years.
Aw.
She has that thing as a person where she can make you feel so comfortable, where you'll be just yourself while you talk to her. And once
I
you're
agree.
that, you actually share that, okay, no, this is not happening, or this person is not going to be happy. Where a lot of people will hesitate to share the actual thing, and they'll, you know, very superficially, they'll tell you that, no, we can't do this, we can't do it, without even giving you a reason.
Yeah.
But like how she said that you need to have that relationship, or you need to, you know, that icebreaker needs to be there, where you can now be very open with me and just tell me, no, that if you have a budget, or if you have a person whom you want to impress, or if there is something that I can help you with.
Yeah.
So once that comes, I think that's what you're trying to say. And with her, it just happens with the second time when you
It's
speak to her.
natural.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
her as a person.
Thank you.
Which
I
I
agree.
have to just
I
give it to you
agree.
with that smile. It's like, yeah, I'm like, it's like a no-judgment zone, which may be happening in her head, but you will not get to know.
No. You know, I
But that's
actually
so-
have
that's
learned
so-
over time going with the flow is the best way.
Yeah.
And I also like eventually when I'm out of, for instance, a situation scenario, it's all forgotten.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and,
of course,
and
you
I
have
moved
to,
on.
man. Yeah,
like literally
yeah.
moved on,
Which is good.
Which is good.
But I think you need to have that trait first
The
after
detachment.
patience.
Yeah.
That's the second trait that you need to have if you're getting into this industry.
yeah.
Okay, Kripa, let's talk about the budgets here.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm not going to ask you that, okay, give me the numbers here.
Yeah.
But what I've seen over the years, and when I say over the years, I'm talking about social events, corporate events, and weddings.
Yeah.
You know, when people divide the budgets, they will spend some loads of money on like the best of the food.
Yeah.
But they will not spend enough and good money on their photographer and videographer.
Yeah.
Or they will spend a bomb on the photographer and videographer, but they will not spend good enough on the decor.
Correct.
Okay. Or if they have ticked a lot of these boxes, they will not spend a good amount of money on a good MC who
Yeah.
is literally the
Correct.
I would say like the most important
Right.
person to just make sure that the entire evening is great.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I had to ask you, when people actually keep a budget for their events, and now this is common for all the events,
Yeah.
be it social, corporate, or weddings, what are the things that they should never compromise on?
So I feel like to do a good event or a good wedding, nothing should be compromised on.
That's
there
true.
has to be a great balance.
Yeah.
So how I usually start any of the projects is I make an Excel sheet and
Okay.
I actually share an open file with my client.
Perfect.
And I'll be like, listen, this is what we've kept for hotel stay. This is what we've kept for logistics. This is what I've kept for decor. This is what I've kept for entertainment. This is what I've kept for miscellaneous expenses, entertainment and guest relationship, different headings basically.
Right,
I have
right.
all of that ready.
Right.
And then I have a balanced budget that I actually voice out on day one.
Okay.
So that they already understand that a wholesome experience is very important.
Right. Right.
So yeah, everything that you mentioned and everything I just mentioned is all very important.
Correct.
To make sure that everything is perfectly done. Like
Right.
you want people to come into a room and get a gift, and
Yeah.
you want somebody to come to an event knowing, like through an MC, what's going to happen at the event to ensure that the event is led properly.
Yeah.
You want an amazing entertainer so nobody's getting bored.
Right.
You
Right.
want interactive elements at the event so people are going to walk around and getting entertained for those 3 to 5 hours.
Right,
You know,
right,
so I
right.
feel like a balance is really important. And I feel like as an advice, what I genuinely do is
Yeah.
start with an Excel sheet,
Okay.
have all these headings mentioned and allocate budgets from day one.
Right. Right.
And that's what I submit to a client so they understand my mindset.
Right, right.
You know.
So they should definitely have a separate budget for a photographer and videographer.
100%.
They should not compromise on an MC.
Exactly.
They should not compromise on a good makeup artist.
Yes.
Or obviously the food as well.
Of
I mean, like,
course.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
these are the like the major
But
ones.
is there something which commonly people do tend to compromise on? Because I think some people just don't understand the value. Like
Yeah.
usually the MC is the last people who get the call. Like, hey, the event is tomorrow. Are you free? You're like,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
I'm not.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, there's certain things that people just don't understand. I mean, it's not their fault.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
is there
yeah.
something like that which people tend to compromise on a lot more?
So, I mean, at least the corporate events I do, MC is the first thing I get asked for, and
Yeah.
hostesses.
Thank
So,
goodness.
I haven't actually had that come my way.
Yeah.
With weddings, if I have to be perfectly honest, a lot of MCing is done by a close family member or a
Right.
close friend.
Yeah, because they know the family.
They know the
Yeah.
family, and I feel like
Inside jokes.
Yeah, inside jokes, and I feel like they can connect with people around.
Yeah.
And so I have seen that as a trend,
Yeah.
especially where the MC is concerned. I have really seen that photographer and videographers, they don't compromise on at all.
Oh, nice. But trust me, that trend has recently
Yes,
changed.
100%.
They never used to pay that much of attention on a
Yeah.
photographer and videographer. Earlier, if you're
Yeah.
like 10 years back, if they'd be like, oh my God, they're going to charge me that extra amount for that 1 minute video, let's not just ask
Yeah.
them. Let's just give us the raw footage.
100%.
And now they regret they should have asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the first things actually when you asked me when you're starting to plan a wedding and let's say the hotel room is booked
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
The first thing, even sometimes before the hotel is booked, but the dates are confirmed, I've
Yeah.
seen brides and grooms actually booking their photographer and videographer
Wow.
and their makeup artist
Oh,
because they
lovely.
understand how hard it is to actually get a hold of them. It's
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
an amazing transformation actually,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
importance of that skill set is
Yeah.
surely like risen quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
But what is the kind of budget that we're talking here? That you can of course
The
share, right?
photographer and videographers, honestly,
For a 3-day event.
for a 3-day event, if you're going to do something locally, it's
Yeah.
around 3,000 riyals.
Okay.
For a couple of events, obviously per
Right,
day.
right.
But if a lot of artists are actually coming from outside the country now,
Right,
which
right.
are charging a lot more, and also then you're spending a lot more on their stay, travel,
exactly.
visa, food.
Yeah.
But then
yeah.
these are people the bride and groom are comfortable with. They know the angles.
Yeah. Sometimes they're used to them. Sometimes I feel like most of the bride and grooms have like Instagram on
Yeah.
literally in their hand at any
Yeah.
given point of time, and there's so much information out there. I feel like they just know what they want. Couples know what they want. And there are certain things like these that they don't want to compromise on anymore.
Yeah, yeah. But is there anything that you are like super confident about, especially for someone who's planning for a destination
Yeah.
wedding where they've chosen Oman as a destination and they're bringing a photographer from outside,
Yeah.
they're bringing a makeup artist from outside, they're bringing the entertainers from outside, they're bringing the chefs from outside. But you out there, you say that, no, you know what, trust me, you'll get a better quality here.
Decor.
Nice, nice. Of course. I mean, like that goes by default. I mean, like you have the best of the setup here.
Yeah.
Because logistically also they will not be carrying all of that here. So you
But
have it here.
can I tell you something that's happened over time though? There was a lot of help that was taken when we first started about 13 years
Yeah.
back, where things were being brought from outside.
Right,
But I
right.
want to say that we're so proud of the fact that now we're making every single thing in Oman.
Wow.
I mean, the vendors we have are amazing. The in-house infrastructure we have is great.
Good.
We house everything now. We understand all of it now.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was not very easily available 13 years back. So that's why I'm proudly talking
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah.
Of course, there is amazing people outside doing similar jobs and
Yeah.
amazing work that even we get inspired by every single day. It's not
Yeah.
like, we're just the best in the world or something like that.
Yeah.
But I can confidently say that 13 years back, what we couldn't do, we can do today.
Oh, lovely.
And providing every local support, we can beautifully do today.
Right, right.
Yeah.
In terms of challenges, is there something that you still face a challenge with? Where you would like to say that, okay, if this thing can be sorted, it'll get faster or help you better?
I would say as of today, we have everything sorted. Even like getting people's visas and getting, support in terms of whatever we need, from the hotels locally. And, there is nothing that I can point out on that is, an issue. Of course, Oman's a very expensive place. So that, it's not that rosy that every single wedding that we've ever pitched for has actually come here.
Right.
Very few come here.
Right.
And
right.
hence, it's, we see the joyful part of what we put up on Instagram, which are those
Yeah.
few things that we do put up.
Yeah.
But like, there's so much more that may not be coming here. But again, Oman is placed like that as a market. It is for
Right.
the luxury segment, and I think
Right.
that's fabulous.
Right. right.
It's very focused.
Right.
So there are a few events and destination weddings and events that come here. There are multiple people in Oman that work really hard to make that happen. Whether it's the ministries of, whether it's the Ministry of Tourism, whether it is also all these amazing teams at these hotels. They work day and night to bring in these groups, right?
Right, right.
But I can only say that what we didn't have 13 years back, we have it today.
Oh, lovely. So, what has gone in your favor if you were doing these destination weddings, if not in Oman and somewhere else?
Yeah.
What do you think you would have missed?
I mean, I feel like I have the infrastructure here because of which we've been able to manage things here.
Yeah.
We've managed to build teams here, which we've managed, to do
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I think the exposure that I have had in my life because of, from where before I even got married, back home with the family business background that I come from. My dad came up from nowhere. I've seen him working hard. I've seen him, every day we've had business conversations on the table. Then I was sent to the nicest of universities. My parents, didn't compromise on any of that. They gave us everything that we wanted. I went to an amazing finishing school in Switzerland, where I was taught so many other value sets that I feel like I use even today. I feel like that exposure that comes my way with the people I've associated with, the way I've been brought up, the way I feel like the sense of exposure that I've had also has helped me quite a bit in the business I do, because I'm in the business of luxury.
Right.
Then I obviously got married into this most amazing family.
Yeah.
And they're just so proud of what I do. And they're so supportive of what I do. And also because of, where I'm at even today, I get even more exposure. I think what sets me maybe apart is the exposure I have, because of which I can provide those international standards
Right.
to people coming into Oman.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it totally does. I have a following question to that. Like how you mentioned that you are actually married into the most amazing family, and it's quite an influential family
Yes.
here in Oman.
Yes.
And it's very easy for someone to just get very comfortable,
Yeah, and chill.
and chill.
Yeah.
And, and not go through those sleepless nights where you
Yeah.
have like 48 hours of
Yeah.
back-to-back work
Yeah.
and all of that. But I still see that you're still very grateful and you've not taken anything for granted.
Yeah.
And you still go out there
Yeah.
and you have built something of your own.
Yeah.
Like, what
And
I
you worked
really feel
hard for
very,
it.
yeah, and what I feel very proud of you for is for the simple reason that, you really didn't say that somebody else is doing it and I just have to go and put my name on it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
build it from scratch and
Yeah.
you still working on it,
Yes.
right? I know that you love your job. I know that that's the driving force.
Yeah.
But what else is that really keeps you on your toes?
My parents have been such a defining factor in what I do. My dad literally came up from nowhere. He built an amazing business for himself, gave us everything that we ever wanted. But I have seen him struggle. I've seen my mom struggle with him. I've seen him work hard every single day, and every single weekend. And I feel like that is something that I saw and I really believed was really important as well. I've had conversations with my father where he's actually told me, pretty ruthlessly, that nobody is going to be there for you in life if you're going to do nothing. Like, to that extent. Earning your own money, standing on your own feet, having your own identity were things that he spoke to me about pretty often.
Wow.
I was definitely extremely pampered by him, but I was always given a reality check.
Lovely.
And I feel like that was so important.
Right.
It made me work really hard. It made me really realize the importance of, everything that I'm doing today, right?
Right,
Like, it's because of that.
Right.
And then eventually, even after I got married, my husband's extremely supportive. My in-laws are super proud of what I do. They
Wow.
talk about it.
Wow.
I live in a joint family. My sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, my in-laws, my husband, who is awesome, my kids. They're so proud of what I do. So the job I do is not pretty normal, actually. It's not normal at all.
Yeah.
When you don't come home through the night and you show up at 3-4 in the morning at home, it's not really a normal setting, right?
Yeah.
But they're really proud of it. They will talk
Understand.
about whatever I do, and
Yeah.
Mihir will be like, "Oh, good luck," and he'll talk to his family and friends about it. Oh, this is what she does.
That's motivating. Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
spend 2 more
know.
nights outside.
Yeah.
because
No, I'm really
it's
lucked
important.
out, and I'm super, super blessed. I think everything that honestly comes, to me in my life, I am just so grateful for it.
And that's why you get more.
Yeah,
Because
you feel liberated when you feel like.
But there's also a little credit that you got to give yourself also here. I feel that, what I really totally admire about you is that your willingness and your, you just show up.
Yeah.
Like, it's a family event, Kripa's going to be there. It's a friends event, Kripa's going to be there. It's a forum event where she's got to learn something. It's a workshop, Kripa's going to be there. It's a wedding where she's making money out of, Kripa's going to be there. So I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, when does this woman really chill or relax? Or because she is like that, she will never take anything for granted. It's very easy, trust me, it's very easy to get into your comfort zone and say that it'll happen the next time. But for her, I've genuinely
Thank
seen,
you.
like yesterday we were there at the Christmas tree lighting event, she was there with the kids. They're like, oh, I want to see you tomorrow for the podcast. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, like that whole thing of
Yeah.
just showing up, I think at times plays a very important
Yeah.
role, and you have that driving force. And I totally feel that, you've never taken things for granted, and you feel that you got to show up.
Yeah.
And she's
No
shown
matter
up with a
how-
smile.
Yeah, absolutely. With that energy, she will be there, and people around her will definitely, that energy just kind of translates in.
Aw.
Yeah. So I
Well,
think you
thank
have it
you.
that, and yeah, I just keep it going,
Thank
man.
you.
You just have that good energy.
You know, I want to make the most of life.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
feel like I want to just do everything that I can do, and I don't want to miss out on anything because,
Wow.
like there is that many,
Yeah. Things to do.
moments and
Yeah.
years and
Yeah.
happy moments, and
Yeah.
I want to celebrate.
Lovely.
I feel like life has to be a celebration, right?
Right.
And if you've been gifted every single day of your life, just make the most of it.
Wow.
And I feel like being there for somebody and also enjoying every moment, I think it also defines the way I am, right?
Yeah.
I feed off also that energy.
Right.
To give back that energy in many ways, right? And
Right.
I want to be there for the kids. Like for me, for them to see the Christmas lighting was important
Yeah.
because they missed every other one.
Aw.
And then also making it to every single event, even if I show up a bit late, is really important because it's good for me, right? At the
And
end
someone's
of the
waiting for you.
Yeah.
At that
yeah,
event.
and honestly, at the end of the day, when you're working, you go totally. Your mind is so exhausted
Yeah.
that you need to sort of cut off at least for the next couple of
Right,
hours, right?
right,
Like to
right.
sort of have a bit of a balanced life.
Yeah,
I learned it more during COVID though. Before COVID, I was so focused on work only, and after COVID, I realized the importance of balance. I'm trying my best. It's
This seems to be like a major transformation in
Yeah.
you during COVID because you brought that up quite
so
a few
many
times in the
times. No, it's really,
conversation.
really big
Yeah,
deal
so
for
you
me.
have
What
definitely
happened?
done something different
Yeah.
during those 2 years when we were all locked up and we were told
I
that okay,
spend
this
so much family time.
Lovely.
I spend so much time cooking, which
Oh.
I totally stop after that, by the way. Even though it's amazing, I'm like, no more cooking, but like a lot of time with my kids.
Lovely.
Lot of family time, which I honestly didn't prioritize pre-COVID.
Okay.
But can I tell you something? Maybe I shouldn't be so hard on myself pre-COVID because that was a time when I was building the business even more.
Right.
When you're building your business, I think you do need to give more time to it.
Yeah, right.
A lot more energy to it till the time you have adequate team members who can take on more.
Yeah.
You have to give at least the first 7 to 10 years, you have to sort of spend so much more time building your brand.
Correct.
That nothing else matters.
Right, right.
Especially if you're passionate about it
Yeah.
and it matters to you.
Absolutely.
And I think that's when that COVID time came at the correct time. And then I had those 2 years to sort of realize the importance of balance. My kids
Yeah.
are growing up. I need to spend time with them. I need to spend more time with Mihir, my
Yeah.
husband.
Yeah.
Need to spend more time at home, with the rest of the family. You sort of realize that. So now I think, balance off better. And I realize the importance of being everywhere.
Right.
Still being everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
Are we still doing rapid fire today?
Oh yes, I have a lot of interesting questions. But before that, I have a couple of more questions to ask.
Yeah.
Before we get into the rapid
Okay.
fire. So you've spoken about all the good times here. You've spoken
Yes.
about all these happy moments of what when you see that okay,
Yeah.
the decor is nice, the food is
Yeah.
fine. But of course, there are moments when things don't go the way they are
Yes.
supposed to.
And I have this one crazy moment,
Yeah.
which I'll never forget.
Okay, please share.
And I
want
have
to ask that
nightmares of it even today.
I want to hear all
So
about
in 2019, we were doing 3 weddings in
Okay.
Bustan back to back, right?
Okay.
Like there was 3 destination weddings and literally with a 1-day break. So we're literally like shut shop and set our base over there. Now, what happened was this was in the month of December and the last wedding when you're most exhausted, when you haven't slept and your body's not moving and
Yeah.
you're doing like 30,000 steps a day. And, that's
Oh my
really
goodness.
what actually happens behind the
Wow.
scene. When we reached the last wedding and the last event of the wedding, it rained. All the setup was outdoors
in December.
in December. And honestly, usually we have a habit since then to check a forecast before every single event. But on that day as well, it didn't show a forecast that was that extreme.
Okay.
So anyways, on the day we get to know, we go to the client and we're like, listen, it's going to rain. But the ballroom was already taken by a local wedding planner because the next day the buyout was getting over and the
Yeah.
local planner was taken over. So his setup had already begun.
Okay.
So anyways, we decided to continue the wedding outdoors. And because it rained, the entire carpet got messed up and it got dirty and everything got lumpy. And so we delayed the wedding by a couple of hours so we could clean up.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Now, because we were so stressed about the wedding, the reception setup was fully like pending. Not fully
Yeah,
pending,
obviously.
but like 50%
Everything
pending.
gets delayed then. Yeah.
Everything got delayed, right?
Yeah.
Then that was a full white carpet setup.
Oh, how were the stars aligned?
I know. And then we have like these foot marks of people and filth everywhere and dirt everywhere. And it was, we have something called a trussing structure, which is what we hang things on, and then it goes up. The motor, because of the rain and the stormy-like weather, it was very risky for it to go up. So literally the tables are down, the truss is also down, and the guests are about to walk in.
No way.
Yeah. So obviously the client did understand that
Right.
it was raining. So we halted the whole reception process by putting all of them in a restaurant for like cocktails. And then the event had to start 2 hours later, and we had some backup carpets that we just had to put on and
Wow.
make the event just happen, right?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
chandeliers we couldn't switch on because of the electrical work
my
could
God.
have caused an issue. So anyways, having said that, I
still pulled
couldn't
it
stop
off.
blaming myself for the longest time after that wedding. I know everybody says that it was not my fault and it was an
Yeah.
act of God and all of that, but for me, making sure that everything is perfect to a point that people have held me responsible for is really important. Like people are literally every single event that I do are giving me their most important events of their lives to handle.
Yeah.
I take that as huge responsibility. Like it is my world.
Right.
So even if it was not my mistake and even if it was an act of God, it's something that literally before every single event till today, I will talk to my team about.
Yeah. What if this happens?
What if this happens? I don't want this to ever repeat. Keep backup plans ready. And
Yeah.
all this comes through experience.
Yeah.
Have backup teams ready.
Right.
Because eventually we're humans. None of
Yeah.
us can now not sleep for 48 hours,
Yeah.
right? So, but,
Wow.
you learn.
Yeah.
And sometimes things like this happen.
Yeah.
But I think through experience, and this is also why people would like to come to us, is because we've learned over time. We've learned
Right.
through our experiences, and things are going to go wrong.
So these guys don't just have a plan A, they have a plan B, C, D, E
have
now.
to have,
And a backup
yeah.
plan for plan D.
yeah.
Has there ever been a comedy of errors
Uh,
on any of the events where something was supposed to go somewhere, it reached somewhere else? Or
there have been times where, because again, we're loading
where
and
now if you think of it, you really laugh.
yeah. Maybe some episodes with clients.
Yeah, go for
and-
it. Think,
No, but
think.
I actually honestly can't think of it right now. Maybe we
Okay.
can come back to that. I have to think about this one. Yeah.
Yeah, because it
We'll
generally
ask him
happens.
that
I still remember, what happened on my wedding. So my guest actually went on. So there were 2 weddings happening at the same venue. Okay, like there
Yeah.
were 2 venues like close to each other, and my friends, because it was totally new, they didn't know my side of relatives. They went on to the other wedding, and because they said, "Oh, it's a Guju wedding. The food looks the same." They actually ate.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
until like 1.5 hours, they were like, I don't see any familiar faces. And when somebody gives them a call, where are you guys? You're supposed to be here at the entrance. They were like, we are here. No, but we can't see you. Oh, that's when they realized that the venue is different.
Oh, God.
That whole set of friends, they still think about it and they laugh.
Oh.
And like, we actually ate twice. I'm like, oh my God,
That's
you should have done that.
hilarious. Yeah.
So at a wedding, things like that happen actually. Like,
Yeah,
the most
yeah.
unexpected things, the things that you're not prepared for will happen at a time
Yeah,
where
yeah.
you'll be just left about thinking for the rest of your life. Okay, Kripa, tell me another thing. Has there ever been like a crazy brief that has been given to you or a crazy demand from the bride and the groom, or when you have that initial conversation where
Yeah.
you're like, in your head, you're saying, no, this is not possible, but then you still make it happen?
Yeah. Actually, I can talk about an interesting one I had. Okay.
Okay.
And it's actually becoming quite a trend. This is second time around as well that this has come my way.
Okay.
There was a bride who came in, from outside the country, and she's like, I'm not going to sign the contract with the hotel unless I'm allowed to fly in my dog with me. And the dog should be allowed to stay in my room.
Oh,
Yeah,
So
like a
because
little-
there are certain hotels that actually don't allow pets.
They don't
Yeah.
actually, but like a really tiny dog. So obviously we went into details of what does this dog look like and where it's allowed to be, because obviously the hotels cannot even ruin
Yeah.
their property
Yeah.
or their
Yeah.
premises,
Yeah.
right?
So cute.
But it was very cute, and also actually eventually when I met the bride and her dog on the day of the events, like the dog was wearing the same like outfit.
Oh, that's cute.
As her and walking down with her, like
Okay.
for the mehndi, and then even for the wedding, she was with the bridesmaid.
Oh, that's really sweet.
And then recently as well, like we have an upcoming wedding, and I had a similar request if the dog would be allowed to come to one of the events.
Right.
So I think that's becoming now a trend, and it was
Okay.
so interesting for me at the time because it was a deciding factor
Right.
to sign a contract with a hotel and also choosing Oman.
I like this
And the
bride, and
hotels
I
are
like this
accommodating.
trend.
Yes, yes.
Of course, if you're
because-
booking like 250 rooms, so they'll be like, of course, madam.
Get you.
Yeah.
That exception is okay.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a misconception that people have about destination weddings that you'd like to
Yeah.
first?
So a lot of people, believe that destination weddings would be more expensive.
Right.
Of course, it can be if you want it to be.
Yeah.
But actually, when you're doing maybe an event back, let's say in India,
Right.
you're going to have to call so many more people, and the setups would potentially have to be larger. I would say the food costs are actually pretty similar. But when you bring in a destination wedding, you can decide how many people you want to call. And then you're going to spend the same amount of money potentially, and you're going to use it towards things you want to use it for, and with the set of people that you want to use it towards. So,
Right.
to be honest, I don't believe that a destination wedding is potentially always more expensive than doing something where you reside.
Right. So, like how you said that the food cost is almost the same
Yeah.
of how it is back there in India versus here.
Yes.
Similarly, I think it goes when it comes to the decor. It's pretty much the same, or it's slightly on the higher side. here?
So our manpower cost in Oman is on the higher side.
Right. Accommodation also gets slightly more
Higher
expensive here.
and,
Okay.
So I would say definitely, I'm not saying Oman is inexpensive.
Yeah.
It is an expensive destination. However, it's all about the Excel sheet.
Yeah, if you limit the number of people where
Yeah.
you'd be calling around 1,000 people back in India,
Yeah,
probably
you can
will
call
cut it down.
250, 300.
Correct. And your photos
Quality.
also will look nice.
Yeah.
Plus, you'll have the tag of a destination wedding.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, Oman has the most amazing landscape.
Right.
It has the most amazing hospitality.
Right.
It has the best connectivity. Like
Right.
a lot of the weddings that are coming in from outside the country are now international weddings. You can't consider it only from a certain country.
Right,
There's
right.
people coming in from Europe, people coming in from the States, people coming in from India, people coming in from Far East. You have friends from all over the world. You have
Right.
family all over the world. So
Right.
it's such an amazing, geographically located country.
Right.
Which is what makes Oman a very interesting destination to work with.
Absolutely.
A lot of people have also not been to Oman, and
Right.
people want to show a different
Right.
location to people.
Right.
It's exotic.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So, what are you thinking for, yeah, man? If you are just planning to get married and you're looking for a destination, Oman is the place.
And then
you
call
have
us.
to call. Well, we're definitely going to tag our page where you can just easily get in touch with the team there at Mosaic Events.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how you. Just roll. Wow. Good. Please just call us as guests. No, we'll not eat or probably charge you for that. But I just want to experience one of those
So it's
weddings
very
that you.
interesting. I get
Yeah.
asked this so much, like even by a lot of my friends, right? They'll be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, why can't you just call us? Like,
Yeah.
make us a part of your team." Like this, I'm gonna have 100 people from my side, like taking them to experience the wedding, and 250 guests from actually the client side.
No, but actually, trust me, it's a very common question because when I post something on my Instagram or some of the weddings that I have attended, I have come back and all the colleagues or the locals or the Omanis or Lebanese or people from Spain, like
Yeah.
the people who work here,
Yeah.
when they've seen the updates, they're like, the next wedding that you're going to,
Yeah.
we are just tagging along.
Yeah.
It's just the whole excitement,
Yeah.
it's just the whole feel and the amount of drama that's involved, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
I think everyone wants to just experience
part
it. If
of
you
it.
haven't ever experienced an Indian wedding, trust me, if it's a Punjabi, South Indian, Marwari, Gujarati, any wedding that you get a chance for, just go and attend.
Yeah.
Gate crash. Or just get in touch with her. What's the next one that she's organizing and if she can send you the invite. All right. Let's
Before we move on to rapid fire, I have one final question.
yes, go for it.
You've established yourself. You've got a benchmark.
Yeah.
Does competition even exist for you?
So the thing is, competition can exist.
Can exist.
And there have been times where, there have been obviously people who would want to come forth and have come forth, right? And see, eventually, everybody can do what we do, right? Like, it's not like it is something that has not existed. It exists in the world. It exists in every single country. It exists so much in India as well, right? It's not something that's rocket science. But I think what has set us apart is our experience. I really would say that, the comfort we provide through experience, And then, of course, the infrastructure we've built, with that experience. So
That's a strong point.
that is a strong point. So yes, of course, there is competition. There is always people who aspire to do what we do, and of course, why not, right? We also aspire to be doing what we're doing today from other people that I looked up to. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, she's made herself so strong here in Oman that there is no way that you can do a wedding here without getting in touch with her. So if you're coming with your whole team also, there will definitely be something that you'll have to
Something
give her
that
a
you
call
need
for,
to-
that can you please just help us out with that, right?
No, God is kind.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, another thing I wanted to ask before we get into the rapid fire, for someone who's listening to you and is in college and doing bachelor's and all of that, and they
Right.
want to get into this as a career, they want to take
Sure.
event management as a career. What are
Yeah.
the opportunities? What are the things that they can technically consider, or what is the right way?
to get in touch with us.
Okay.
And if during
But what are
this-
the qualifications that you also look for?
honestly, okay, today if I have to talk about qualifications, of course, my production team that I have has had experience in production.
Right.
But can I tell you something? Skill sets is something millions of people have, right? Even in the events field. I have looked at personalities. Like that has been my driving force. People's value systems, people's personalities, their communication skills. I really need everybody in my team has to be extremely humble, simple, should be able to communicate. Communication is extremely important. I feel like when I'm talking to somebody in an interview, there has been most times when I haven't looked at somebody's CV, because that's an obvious, right? Like they've applied to this job because they're either passionate about it or they've studied it, and I'm sure they have a million certifications for it. Today, I don't have a certification as an event manager. I have a certification of being an entrepreneur and a marketing.
Right.
A person who has taken up marketing,
Right.
in the past. But having said that, I have learned from every single carpenter, electrician, drapist, florist that have ever come, my way through the journey that I've had. So it is something I have picked up on because I have really believed in what I have done.
Right.
So I really believe if I can do this today, anybody and everybody can, right? Like it is really possible.
Right.
So I really believe it has to be the correct personality type, somebody who has a correct value system.
Right.
Even somebody who's applying to the job, for instance, maybe with our company, they should also ensure that it is a similar synergy.
Yeah.
They also don't want to be working with somebody or for a company that doesn't work for them.
Yeah.
So it's just that.
Yeah. So how often do you actually do these interviews with the young talent out there? Because I'm sure that, with the level of the events that you're organizing, the manpower just keeps increasing. There.
Yes.
So you need more people to organize a bigger event, then a
Correct.
bigger event, then a
Right.
bigger event than that.
Right.
So where is that you put out an ad or say that, okay, these are the people whom I'm looking for? If someone who's actually listening to you right now
yeah.
and just wants to be a part of your team
Right.
and wants to get that experience, what is the right way to approach you?
I mean, usually a lot of people write to us on Instagram.
Oh, on Instagram?
On Instagram, on private
right,
message,
right,
and
okay.
they'll ask for, if there's an
any
opening or any
nice.
of that.
Okay.
A lot of people come our way through a lot of people we already know. Whether it's people who are already working for the company, people who are our vendors.
Right.
It comes through that source.
Reference.
Reference is really good. It's easy.
Yeah. Because in this field, you really
yeah.
need to have that trust in the person.
Trust is the most important
Yeah,
thing. Like I
yeah.
tell my team all the time, and even if I've ever hired somebody, I really tell them, please be punctual, because it drives me mad if somebody's really late for a meeting, unless it was absolutely out of hand.
Yeah.
Secondly, trust is my biggest factor. I'd rather have somebody have one less skill set. A trustworthy person and a trustworthy team is really my most essential requirement.
Wow. Yeah, I understand why and where is it coming from, because it clearly shows in the work.
Yeah.
So there you are. If you're organizing an event, which is a social corporate or wedding, call
Luxury
them.
event.
If
Call
you're
us.
looking for a job, call them.
Yeah.
If you just want to enjoy your wedding, call them. That's Kripa. Well, now let's get into the rapid fire.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do this.
A heads
How
up,
many
there's no
people
hamper here. Huh?
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, I'm taking your cameras, I'm taking your lights, I'm taking the screen at the back.
I'm telling you, it's not the cameras that are precious, it's the people behind.
Behind.
Okay, I'm taking them too.
Please don't take that. We need them a lot. We people okay giving the cameras, not the people.
Yeah, absolutely. No. Okay, let's start.
What is the best compliment that you received at an event?
That we're the best wedding planners and decorators in Oman.
Wow.
Yeah.
If there was ever a celebrity that you have always wanted to organize an event or a wedding for, who would that be?
To be honest, all are welcome.
She never says no to money.
I never say no.
Yeah. Sara kam achha kam. Yes. But if there is anyone whom you would want to see on the vision board right there, ki, I want to organize an event for these guys.
So it can be an event, right?
It can be an event. Let's not stick to just wedding. Any event.
Okay, I mean the largest family, like a celebrity, it could be Shah Rukh Khan.
Oh, please bring him here.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
also put him right there on my vision board.
Yeah, done.
Okay, I know we've spoken about 2 outdoor events, which is why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Do you prefer to do indoor or outdoor events?
Outdoors.
Even with the challenges.
Yes.
Okay, a big fat wedding or an intimate wedding? Come on, that has to be like quick.
Okay, big fat wedding.
Okay, your most interesting statement piece that you've done.
In the mountains
Okay.
at Anantara, just amazing floral installations.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing a bride and groom should never do at their wedding.
Try to plan the wedding on the day of the wedding.
There are crazy people like that who can do it. Yeah.
Most requested color palettes.
Pastels.
Always, right?
Yeah.
Always.
Your favorite part of the wedding?
When the event is over.
Oh.
Because I see the reaction of
Yeah.
how everyone felt.
And that sigh.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, a detail that everyone tends to ignore when it comes to weddings.
So a flow of event chart that we make usually is to ensure that nothing is missed out. So that creating that flow of events is something that's really important.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 words to describe a perfect wedding.
Warmth, true family and friends, an amazing wedding planner,
Perfect. Okay.
and a stunning location.
Yeah. Okay.
Flower installations or seating arrangements? Which one is harder?
Flower installations.
And if you had to pick up a wedding theme for yourself, which one would that be?
I would potentially do a floral heavy wedding.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, the craziest pre-wedding superstition that you've ever heard.
I don't even know how to answer that.
But I'm sure that you must have heard of many. Like a lot, because it's like so, it's a very...
Oh, like I can tell you, like in general, like don't wear black. Like a lot of Indians believe, like don't wear black.
Yeah. So that's the color.
We
that you
always
know.
start with all our events are first started with prayers.
Yeah.
In some format, even
Yeah.
back home, and
Yeah.
then the parties
whole-
begin.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
those are the usual superstitions that we technically follow. Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. Okay.
Also, our mandap, like some people believe it, by the way, and some people don't. But like, you should face a certain direction when you get married.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. The location of the
Directions,
mandap, where it's facing.
Wow. And you've done all of that.
Yes,
You've
but
gone
there
with
are
that
some
compass. You
we
have.
yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you have been through that. Done
Yeah,
that.
and the funny part is none of the beach backdrop locations in Oman are actually Vastu compliant.
Are you going to change the beach for that? How do you do that?
No, some families are so many, like they believe in this so much
Yeah.
that actually they wouldn't even want that as a backdrop anymore. They would change it to like another backdrop which is half decent, or ask us to create a mandap that is covered from the back just to ensure that it's Vastu compliant. Because it's a science, right? Like
Yeah,
Vastu
fair
is a
enough.
science.
Yeah, you can't blame
But
them.
there are some families who don't talk about it, so we don't bring it up. There are some families who
enough.
bring it up and then we give our opinion on it.
Yeah, because someone like me wouldn't even know that there's something like that exists.
Yeah.
But these are the things that they actually
Yeah.
consider. Wow, that's new. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. One food item you think that should be a no on the wedding menu and should be a big yes on the wedding menu.
A big yes is usually pasta
Okay.
because of the international weddings that we
Yeah.
have, and I
Yeah.
feel like it works for everyone,
Correct.
and with the spice content and not.
Yeah.
And what should not be on a wedding menu is something which has raw onions.
Very well said. Anything that you were actually like very scared of that the client shouldn't just ask for this, that you just kind of keep yourself very calm with that? I'm just hoping that the client should ask for this.
Anything that goes beyond their budget, which cannot fit in their budget.
Oh, I have a question on that. What advice would you give someone who's trying to stay on budget?
Right. People who are trying to stay on budget usually should have their expectations set right. So, which is very rare, by the way. You usually get a budget and then you get a mood board because today's brides have mood boards in mind.
Yeah.
It's a Pinterest world, right? So you're going to get like, let's say a 10 real budget, and that could be worth something like 1,000 reals. And that happens pretty often.
That's the story of every marketing person as well.
Correct. So I think the most important thing is to be aligned with it. And before even we commit to a budget, we'll be like, this is what you'll get, XYZ. And obviously, we're always known for providing way above what we've ever promised. But yet, I'm really particular about people understanding what they're going to get at a certain price. The last thing I want is for anyone to feel cheated. That's not happening. So I think anybody with a certain budget, which everyone has one, make an Excel sheet, understand from your designers, decorators, that what's the value you're getting from it from day one before you even make that payment.
Out of all the weddings that we've heard in the recent past,
Yeah.
which one has been your favorite? Was it Anushka? Was it Priyanka? Was it Sonam Kapoor? Or the recent ones that they've got married? Katrina? Which one?
Yeah.
Like from the pictures or the updates that we see, out of all those updates, which one has been your favorite?
So I think
After the Ambani wedding, of course.
I personally, I really liked, some certain glimpses I saw of Deepika and Ranveer's wedding because I think that was in Italy, if I'm not mistaken. And honestly, that's such a dream location. So I don't think there was much out,
They only released a video on Coffee with Karan.
Exactly. And I think I just loved the location. Like, it was just so dreamy.
Okay.
Sometimes with dreamy locations, you don't even need to do too much. And you just get the right people, the correct clothing, the correct jewelry, and just pretty flowers, and you're sorted. And I think also that mandap of Anushka Sharma and Virat Kohli, it was very classy, understated, and it went so well with that. I think it was a very old building where they had their event. So I think I'm a lot about location. And that's why I love doing outdoor events. I think a venue already provides so much value to what you're going to create for someone. That you don't have to try too much. You don't need to try too hard.
So just like how we said, Oman is the place. It's got the best of the landscape. It's like the connectivity is brilliant. You have the best of the best people organizing that for you. So what are you thinking of? What are you waiting for? If there is ever an event, if you're working, corporate event, Mosaic Events. If there's a social event, Mosaic Events. If there is a wedding, Mosaic Events. And it was a pleasure and honor to actually have this conversation with you. I can go on and on.
Thank you.
Still have I can still come up with questions because I'm just enjoying the whole energy and the conversation. But I do understand it's a busy season for you. And thank you so much for actually joining us in the studio. It was really lovely chatting with you.
Thank you. Really, thank you.
Next time we're coming to the event.
Yes. No, thank you so much.
We've just self-invited ourselves and we got it on camera. And she said yes.
No, it's honestly such a fun space to have this conversation. And also it's so relaxed that it was so easy to just talk as if I was having coffee with you. And I wish you, both of you, the very best.
Thank you so much.
You do provide amazing content, and I'm sure you're going to do that for so many more years to come.
Hey, thank you.
Of course.
Well, that's all from us. Now we'll be going back to our wedding albums and we'll be just kind of seeing all of that. By the time we do that, you take good care of yourselves. It's a quick bye from us.
Yes. Thank you.
Yay.